Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Addicted to the Q. I am Brian, Mr. Sofa King Awesome. We have Kevin Hesse, Weekend Bum Barbecue, and a guy that took a fancy to me at band camp, Rob
Woohoo!
Hamilton.
Oh, we got some
Wow.
stories going on
I thought
now.
we agreed prior that we weren't going to bring up Bandcamp.
Well, Kevin said don't do it, so I did it.
Okay.
I want to know who the flute was.
So Rob, off the bat, we met a long, long time ago
Yes, sir.
at a barbecue restaurant. You were my boss there. And what got you into that? Was that just like you got a job there? You didn't really know much about barbecue. What kind of got you swinging toward or swayed towards? Good Lord, watch your words. What veered you towards barbecue?
It was actually I was in high school and I had a friend that worked there and suggested that I come apply. I had no inkling towards barbecue whatsoever. It was just a job. And then once I started working there, I obviously enjoyed the food and so on and so forth, and kind of started out, doing dishes and then, running the fryer, and then ended up, being a night kitchen manager. And so just kind of worked my way up through that and learned a lot about barbecue and
Was that
different styles. Cause it was kind of it was a little more North Carolina style, a little, the owners were from North Carolina, so a little different, but
so? This was a while ago, though, right? This is quite a
this
few years ago. Is
was
that place still open by chance? Or I mean,
no,
you don't have to say the
no.
name if you don't want to. I don't know if some local Kansas City people might remember it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Rouse's Barbecue.
yeah,
Rouse's Barbecue.
yeah.
Rouse's. Okay.
This was
Okay.
back in the '90s, early '90s, because I could really date myself and tell you when I graduated high school.
Oh, I'm older than you, I think.
Well, whatever. So this was early '90s. I don't know when they finally closed down,
Yeah.
or called it quits, but yeah. So
So you
that's
worked at a barbecue. You did it all there, huh?
yeah, yeah. And then even when I left, I would go up there at night and I would do a lot of the prep work and make potato salad and coleslaw and trim ribs and do all that kind of stuff at night too. So kind of I stayed on like as a second job
Oh,
and did that.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What back then, what were they cooking on? I know a lot of restaurants use nowadays, but back then, what were you guys cooking on for the restaurant?
They had, I don't know what brand they were or
Yeah,
what
it was.
they were, two huge rotating rack smokers. Actually, Lane might know what brand they were. Um, but I don't recall. But there were probably, what would you say, Brian? Like
There were six double
six or
racks.
eight, 6 or 8 rotating double racks, and you could get probably 7 briskets per rack, so 14
Wow.
times 6 to 8 racks. You could get 60, 70 briskets in there
Holy
easy.
cow, that's a big, yeah,
I
that's a big
remember
Yeah,
one.
them saying it was
they had
like,
two of them. I would say honestly, they were probably 7 to 8 feet wide and a good 9 feet tall,
yeah.
eight
I mean,
nine feet tall.
they said they were like $50,000 to $60,000 each.
Yeah,
Wow.
They
yeah,
weren't Old Hickory. I know that. I
yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what kind these were.
Yeah, I don't know how long Old Hickory's been around. I know that seems like that's what a lot of places use nowadays, but wow, that's cool. So, and I'm guessing everything was low and slow back then, huh? There
Yeah,
was no hot
yeah.
and
We
fast
we cooked
mentality.
at 225, and we'd put briskets on before we'd leave in the evening, and then when the morning guy would come in, he'd check him and so on and so forth, and get him out and rack them and cool them for a little while and trim them in the afternoon, and then throw all the points back on and run those and make burn ends.
Oh,
But
so you actually did true burn ends compared to what some places in
yeah,
Kansas City do that.
yep, yeah, they did. They made their own sauce. I mean,
Oh,
they
wow.
yeah, it was pretty legit, and it was really popular. I mean,
Yeah. What part of
it it
town was this in?
it was in Shawnee. It was right on Shawnee Mission Parkway, in between Flum and Quivira.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay.
problem with it was the property that they had, and I believe they previously owned it, and that's why they used it, was kind of in behind a car wash. So you could see the building from the road from Shawnee Mission Parkway if you were looking for it,
Yeah.
but it didn't stick out. It wasn't that great of a storefront, so to speak. So they had a neon sign out by the frontage road on Shawnee Mission Parkway, but that was the only. It,
So
it, it
you
was
had to,
it
you
was a
almost
lot
had
of
to
word
know
of
it was
mouth.
there.
It was
Yeah.
a lot of word of
Sounds
mouth.
like it. Man, that's the toughest part of anything. Even nowadays, that's just crazy that, huh. And so what did your dish bitch, I mean, Brian do there?
Dishes.
Brian,
Same as him.
same. I mean, he kind of
Start off
started. I don't know
dishes
if he
and
started on dishes or started
work
on
up.
fry station or what, but he worked his way up, and he was a good worker. He showed up every day. He learned fast. I mean, he a lot of the sandwich, we were supposed to weigh all of our meats and stuff for the sandwiches and stuff, and some of us had just done it so long you could just grab the meat, and like you knew you
Yeah.
were in
Yeah.
the
In
in
the
the
range.
realm, you were
Yeah.
close. And I mean, we joked about it having scales for hands, and Brian was that way. And so yeah, he moved his way right up, and then he was an assistant manager, and then eventually managed as well, I believe.
Yep.
Didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So
cool. What did you guys get to do any creativity with that? I mean, you were just managing the help, so to speak. Did they let you get involved in, hey, let's maybe try this as a side or change the recipe up on ribs or something? Any of that get to happen at all?
not
I did.
not
No.
Yeah.
really, no. But I mean, honestly, I don't know that. I mean, we were both like in high school. I don't know if that creativity
Oh,
was there
okay.
yet. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
My
So,
creativity was when Sandstone was still named Sandstone. They got like a little booth or whatever out there. That was my creativity. I was always like, I want to go do that one. I want to go do that. I
yeah,
don't want to be at the restaurant. I want to go do that.
yeah. I like doing all the catering events and stuff too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Little
but
more active and in front of people
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
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 So that was always fun doing that.
Well,
But
that's cool.
yeah. So
I
that's
don't.
kind of
They did.
how that started.
They did comps. I thought. I know. I didn't do any
Yeah.
with them.
Yep.
So did you get into you did some comps, right, Rob?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I never like as well. So like with Rouse's, yeah, we did the American Royal for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Back when it was still under the bridge,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was way outgrowing that space for sure. I helped out down there for a couple years, and then after that, and after I'm pretty sure the restaurant was gone, I went to work at Johnson County Landfill, and they decided that they wanted to do a couple competitions. And
Yeah.
since I had a barbecue background, I got kind of
You
kind of
became the
kind of
guy.
nominated, so to speak.
Voluntold.
I got voluntold that I got paid for it, so it was a
Yeah, that's
win-win
better
for
than what we
me.
do.
So,
So did
but
you
yeah,
do just a couple a year, or did you get into doing a lot of them, or?
the no, I just did. I did the Royal a couple times, and then with the landfill, we did the Shawnee Great Grillers. I think the first 2 years that they did
Okay.
it, and then unfortunately, the guy that had kind of organized it and stuff had a heart attack and passed away, and
Oh,
they didn't do it after that. But
what?
so
So what did you? What? I guess talk about that then, the comp stuff back then, because obviously very different than what it is today. So talk about the team, what you cooked on. I mean, just I know Brian has told me because he cooked some stuff way back then, but
trimming meat there.
Yeah, trimming meat there.
So you did. You had to show up, and you couldn't trim your meat until you got
everything had to be in the factory cryovac.
Oh my goodness, I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can't with a trailer. I can imagine, but in the middle of the heat of the day with it under an easy up during July or something.
So at the landfill, they actually built a smoker to use.
Okay.
And the funny thing about it, Brian's already laughing because he knows they built a 2-scale Johnny on the spot, and that was the smoker.
You kidding me?
No.
A Johnny on the spot.
It was a Johnny on the spot, and it was a vertical smoker, and the firebox was where the toilet tank would be, so to speak. And even when you opened it, it was like
it looked just like
that. Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh,
yeah. I don't know whatever happened to that thing, but
I'm just gonna ask, where's this thing at?
I don't know.
Do you have pictures of it anywhere?
I don't.
Oh,
we didn't have cell phone cameras back then, Kevin.
Well, I mean, you get the Polaroids going, or that.
We still had the bag phone back then.
We were turning in half chickens at comps, I mean.
Yeah, I had it. Believe me, I had a bag phone. I remember that. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world until it cost like $8 a minute or something like that. So,
we would trim on site and cook on site. There, to the best of my knowledge, there was no one was injecting. No one was. Everybody was cooking slow and low. Nobody was cooking hot and fast. It was just rub your stuff and cook it and turn it in. Like I said, we were turning in a half a chicken, uncut.
So people just had to pick off, and that's how the judges tasted. Wow.
So yeah, it was quite a bit different. And then years later, Brian and I kind of reunited, so to speak, and as you well know, I came out to the Royal with him, with you, and I was like, oh my God, like this is completely. You were trimming your chicken thighs and wrapping them up in cellophane and putting them in the pan and putting them in the fridge, and I'm like, this is crazy.
I still remember when the first time Brian came out with me, he goes, hold on, wait a second. I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, we're going to get in trouble. I go, why? He goes, your meat's already trimmed. I go, yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm not showing up here and trimming it on the spot. I did that when I first started because I didn't know any better.
You said it politely. I was like, WTF, Kevin? What?
Yeah.
We're effed.
Yeah, he was. He was serious.
We've already DQ'd, man.
I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm like, oh, man.
I mean, if we're DQ'd, I might as well just walk and be like that 30 seconds late. I mean.
Yeah, what's the difference?
So, so back to when you're how many were on your team with you when you started out then? Since you were kind of the guy who had all the knowledge and everything.
At the landfill, there was me and two other guys, and one knew a little bit about cooking, and the other one was
just there to drink,
just hired help. More or less.
Was he the one in charge of
the water?
Was
he
the one in charge of the pooper fire?
Man, you gotta look to see if you got pictures of that or figure out where that is, man. That's
we might get on social media, start putting some feelers out.
Maybe.
How big was it? The same size as
it was 2-scale.
You had to, man, that thing had to hold some stuff. That had to hold quite a bit of.
Yeah.
That would be cool to see, though. I think that'd be hilarious.
I think it'd be funny to put it in my backyard as another smoker and not let the wife know.
She's like, what do you got a porta potty for?
And it's there.
I didn't want to walk in the house from the pool.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So And then I'm guessing everything, even charcoal, was totally different, and everything not as readily available. Is probably briquettes from
I
Kingsford, and that's
honestly,
about it.
I think most guys were cooking on offsets, and they were just stick burning everything.
Stick
I don't even
throwing
know that
sticks.
anybody was using charcoal.
You'd
Yeah,
see one bag of coal per team, and that was
yeah.
Maybe,
just to
yeah.
get it started.
That was like to get it started, and then you just ran everything was just oak or hickory, or
I remember one of the early episodes of Barbecue Pitmasters when Myron Mixon and them were actually cooking instead of judges. I remember watching him throw a bag of freaking Kingsford in, and he took lighter fluid
Oh
and
wow!
lit it, and I was like, "What?" Maybe I could have been for show. I don't know, but I remember seeing that happen. I was like, "What in the world?" So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
You know his Georgia accent's like, we're just getting this fire going. It's gonna burn hot.
Well, that's what he said. It's gonna all burn off, and I was like, well, you're probably right. It probably does all as long as you're cooking with it, burning. And then he was throwing sticks on top of it. But yeah, so that was oh man. What so were you I mean, you didn't cook a lot of comps, but were you
No,
successful?
but
Did you get some calls? Did you
yeah, I at the first Shawnee contest, I took first in sauce, but
okay,
I just doctored
something.
somebody else's sauce and turned it in. There wasn't
Yeah,
a lot of I didn't make the sauce. I really liked the sauce. I didn't think it had enough heat level to it. So I just kind of spiced it up a little bit. And I mean, honestly, on the sauce cat, you were only turning in like two of those little tiny
oh
side solo cups, anyways.
yeah,
And
okay.
so I just turned that in, and we ribboned in it. I know that, but
Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah.
cool. That's
So
cool.
I mean, it wasn't me. It was
Oh,
just you know.
I've I've
But
heard I've heard of people doing that where there's a sauce category at a comp and they'll just pour Blues Hog or something in a deal and see how it does,
see how
So
it does.
yeah.
I got
But,
first, Blues Hog.
but at that point, do you turn your ribbon into them? Do you
I
give
don't
your
know.
ribbon to Blues Hog if
Do,
that's what
do
you
you want to
did?
admit that you did that? I don't know.
Right.
So, and then fast forward, we reconnected and I brought you out of retirement.
Pretty much, yeah. I reached out to Brian because I knew his personal business, and I had some issues that I wanted him to come take a look at, treat for ants and stuff, and so he came over and did that, and I had a
Shout out
bunch
to
of
Scout Pest Control, by the way. Free plug.
yeah, it was
And
so.
again,
New sponsor for the podcast. All right.
There you go. So I reached out to Brian to do some ant control for me, and he came over and treated for ants. And while he was over, he saw that like on my deck of my house and out in front of my house, I had all of these pots with hot peppers with pepper plants in them, and we got to talking about it, and just he started talking about wanting to kind of play around with some hotter peppers and trying to use some in his cooking and stuff. And I know he grows his own peppers and stuff as well. But that then he started talking about kind of wanting to have a little fun and maybe do a couple comps a year, and asked if I was interested in doing it with him. And here we are,
Yeah, you
couple,
guys have done
couple
a few
years
of them.
later, and
Yeah.
a quick shout out to our sponsors: King Louis Meat Apostle Barbecue Rub, Inkbird Thermometers, Rum Runners Barbecue, Butcher Barbecue and all their goodies, Springer Mountain Farms Chicken, the best charcoal out there, the Good Charcoal Company, the only Vortex drum, Hunsaker Drums. Now back to Brian, Brad, and the Bum.
we do about 3 a year, and so
Does he
like
does he let you like do anything, or does he just tell you to stand off to the side?
he Hey, he does all. It's him. It's all him. I'm I'm the hired help. So
Nah,
yeah.
you do stuff
No,
though. You do
I
stuff
do.
like
You
August.
know Brian. You know Brian. Brian has tendency to wander off and get to chit chatting, and
So you
so somebody's back at the tent rotating smoker racks and
paying attention to what's going on and all that
checking
stuff.
temperatures.
So
Yeah.
really, Rob's doing it.
So the calls are yours, and when you don't get a call, it's Brian's
No,
fault.
no, but yeah,
Yes.
there, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Now
No,
everybody needs somebody to keep them on point.
we have fun. I mean, we just have fun,
Yeah,
play around
yeah,
with some different stuff, and have a good time.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. So,
Well,
oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead, Brian. You
I was
go.
just say. So speaking of peppers,
Mm-hmm.
what you got on your shirt there?
Mr. Pepper Shirt, Mr. Pepper
A
Man.
bunch of peppers.
You are the Pepper Man. Let's
Well,
talk about that, man.
let's
So,
dive into it.
so
What do you do? What are you into? I mean, I know we have,
Peppers.
dispensaries in Missouri now. Are we going to have pepper dispensaries going on, or what? Talk about that.
so the way I kind of got started is a friend of mine that lives across the street happens to be a neighbor across the street. He grows 4 or 5 different varieties of hot peppers. My wife and I love hot wings. So my wife will make hot wings 3 times a week, you know. So in talking to the guy across the street, he started bringing ground pepper over, and we started incorporating that into the hot wings, and it was really good. I got to talking to him. I was like, "It's really interesting to me that you do this, and you know so much about it, and about these different varieties and the different heat levels and all of this." So he's the type of person. He's retired. He retired from the railroad.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to work the next day, and when I come home, there are 2 big pots in front of my garage door, 3 or 4 bags of soil, a bag of manure, and 8 starter plants. And I just mentioned to him that it was interesting to me. So my wife comes home and she looks at me and she goes, "What's this?" And I said, I think Lee brought it over. And
Yes.
she just kind of looked at me and I go, I guess I'm a pepper farmer now.
I guess you got your starter kit. You didn't know you ordered it from the back of the
So
comic book, and Sea Monkeys will be next.
right. So I started growing them and getting into some different varieties and stuff. And what's really interesting to me is there's some like kind of more sought after plants and peppers and stuff, and they're kind of hard to come by. They're kind of hard to find seeds for. I mean, you can buy them, but I haven't purchased any seeds at all. So what I do is the peppers that I grow, I save a lot of seeds out of them, and then there's tons of pepper groups on Facebook
Mhm.
and whatnot, and 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 then I take the seeds that I grow and I trade those off and get different varieties, and then grow those the following year, and then save those seeds, and then just continue to kind of build up what I call a seed stock. So when I hit on something that like I really like the fruitiness or the heat level or whatever the case may
Mhm.
be of, then I will grow that again the following year, or but
Sure.
it's an excellent way to try a bunch of different stuff without like, you go to the nursery or something, and they may have 4 different varieties of peppers and variant heat levels, but that's it.
That's all. Yeah.
That's all they got.
You can go
So,
to Rob's weed farm and get like 42 different varieties.
well,
I
so
I
what is
probably
a
have around 50 different varieties growing this
50
year.
different varieties? Holy cow! Is that on a high end? Is that normal on average for you each year, or is that
That
low? Is that
I've gotten bigger every year. So
Okay, we're talking about not you. We're
I
talking about.
grew both, Kevin.
I'm there
Both.
with you, brother. I'm there with you.
No, no. Every year I kind of add a few more in that I didn't have the previous year, and grow those and save seeds from those, so that I have those if I want to grow them again in the future.
So you
So I'm
said,
go ahead.
you said something earlier that intrigued me because this is not being a pepper guy. I like hot stuff, but my tolerance level of hot is not near the level of somebody like you guys or Chris Talley or anything. But you said sought after, hard to get seeds or varieties of peppers. I just assume you can get anything you needed anywhere. What give me some examples of what's kind of the hard thing to get. This sounds like bourbon when I'm looking for bourbon
So
with Andy. Um,
So I so kind of the way it seems to me to work is like even if you can find somebody that has seeds, and again, they would probably sell them to you, but I'm trying to amass stuff without buying seeds from people. So if
uh-huh.
I don't have any seeds that they want in trade, they're not going to trade me for them. You see what
Okay.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so like there's varieties like Gator Jigsaws, Naga Vipers, like all of these different crossbreeds, Death Spirals, Purple UFOs,
You're making me
I, I,
pucker now. That's I
Seven
don't
Pot
remember that.
Slimers. I mean, there's all these different varieties.
He's talking about super hots, like
Yeah,
Yeah,
these are
yeah.
these are
I,
super hots.
you're. I mean, that sounds like that Pocky chip I had a few years ago. Like a
Right?
freaking
Oh
I
yeah,
candy.
watched that
I don't
video.
know about
I
that.
watched
Yeah,
that video.
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's some really hot ones out there that are kind of a little harder to find. So
You
if you
like
can,
that kind of stuff?
I
You?
don't.
Oh,
No,
okay, okay. I
no.
was like,
I
what in the
save
world?
I save the seeds. So essentially, like when I grow the super hots, I'll split them in half. I'll save the seeds out of them. Most of the time, if I don't have an immediate use to cook with them right then, I'll just dehydrate them and grind them into powder, and then
Okay,
I'll use the powder later. And I'm trying to come up with kind of more and more ways to use the pepper
incorporate it.
powders and stuff, So I make a lot of jerky. Well, I say jerky. I use ground beef. I know jerky purists out there are gonna go, that's not jerky,
We
but
like it
you
here.
know, right. But I use a lot of the pepper in that, and like I said, we use a lot on hot wings and other things that we cook and use, And I'm always trying to find more uses for the powders.
So, and I can only imagine because I know, like when I grind stuff up for finished powders, finished dust, and it changes the flavor. I can only imagine how it can amplify possibly, or what it does with some of these hot stuff. Do
Some of
you
the hot
taste?
ones, though, a lot of the hot ones, yeah, I'll taste them, but a
Uh-huh.
lot of the hot ones, like when you smoke with them, it dissipates a lot of the heat, like
Oh,
quite
okay,
a bit,
okay,
quite a
okay.
bit when you smoke with them, is what
Yeah,
I've kind of found.
yeah.
Because like just for example, Brian, the Thai Dragon powder but it's hot right out of the right out of the
Oh
shaker.
yeah,
It's hot,
yeah.
but you can use that on a slab of ribs. I'm not talking like liberally like you would another rub, but you can use it and it doesn't retain all of that heat by the time they're done. It
Well,
dissipates quite a
and
bit.
you're right. Now it's been a few years because I was scared of that stuff when Brian gave me a packet. But I remember I did some on some wings, but I
Hmm.
didn't put much on there because I was so scared because of how hot it was out of the package. But then when it cooked, I was like, oh, I think I could have used a little
It
bit more
yeah,
because I
it just
could
had a little back
barely,
end heat.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it not that my hot bum has anything close to what you're talking about, but it's the same thing. When you taste out of the bottle, it's got some bite.
Yep.
When if you don't use enough when you cook with it, because it does dissipate a lot of that heat, depending on
Yep.
what you're cooking and everything. So okay,
Yep.
okay. So what
So
do you
yeah,
like?
if I have an immediate use, like I don't grow a lot of jalapenos per se, but again,
Anybody can do that, right? That's child's play.
but my friend across the street, he grows quite a few. So when he's in full swing and he's picking, 50, 60 jalapenos a day, he'll bring a bunch over to me, and I'll start doing, stuffed peppers on the smoker. I'll start doing, stuff like that. I'll make some cowboy candy or something. And like when I make cowboy candy, I'll take a couple super hots that I have, if they're
Mix in.
right, and I'll mix those in, and I make what I call cowboy candy on steroids, because it definitely
Okay. I'm gonna put my order in. I love cowboy candy. I love that stuff. And I'm okay with if it's a little, because I don't put a whole lot on, but there's certain things I love.
Sure,
So
sure.
I'll put an order in for a few jars of that stuff. I know that's and I suppose since between you and your neighbors, you're growing those, as opposed to, because one thing I always found when I go buy jalapenos at the store, I don't know if I'm getting some. You have no clue. Is this going to have any heat? My wife will make fresh salsa in the summer, and we'll freaking throw one in, blend it up. Nothing. I'm
Nothing.
5 jalapenos in, and I'm like, man, what in the world did Ivy have today? And the next day, you put one in, and it's burning you. You don't know.
A lot of people don't know or realize that, like, literally just with jalapenos, there are probably, I'm just going to take a guess and say there's probably 70 to 80 sublets of jalapenos.
Wow. No, I never even.
Oh,
I
there's
mean,
all
it makes
kinds
sense, but I
there's
guess
all
I never
kinds
thought
of
of it.
varieties of jalapenos.
I
All
got
kinds.
Okay.
10 different varieties that we're growing.
Yeah.
And the stores are just buying whatever. It's not like they're comparing.
I don't know. I can't speak to that, but it's a possibility that it might be a different. It could be a different one,
Sure.
depending on
Sure.
where they got it from or what was readily available or whatever. Who knows? Because like a true mucho nacho is a jalapeno hybrid, and
Mucho Nacho. Love the names.
I've had some of those that they are fire. Like they are hot. But like a regular jalapeno to me, fresh, picked fresh off the plant and washed and eat, it's almost like a bell pepper.
Yeah, I'm
There's
okay
not a
with
lot
that.
of,
Yeah.
but like if you pickle them or you do something like that with them, they get hotter, sitting in that oil and stuff.
Mhm.
Same kind of thing with the cowboy candy. If I slice up, let's just say like a sugar rush pepper and mix it in, which a sugar rush is it's a lot hotter than a regular jalapeno. It takes that cowboy candy up in heat
Just a
because
notch.
all of the oils and everything from it dissipate throughout the entire syrup and
Uh-huh.
kind of
Well,
make it
that's
a
kind
little
of
hotter.
cool. And I guess what I was getting at, since you guys are growing and you know what you're growing, you're a farmer of peppers. I mean, no different than somebody who's growing varieties of corn or beans on the farm. But since you know what you're growing and consistent, you know what flavor you're going to get based off I'm pulling them off of this plant versus me going to the store and getting something. So
Yeah, yeah.
you can be consistent.
Jalapeno wise,
Jalapeno
yeah,
wise.
yeah.
Is it not the
But
same
like,
with other peppers?
well, no, it's the same with other peppers, but I trade for and grow new varieties every year, and a lot of times I have no idea what's in store
What you're
for me.
getting?
I mean,
Okay.
I can Google it, but like to me, like everybody has their own like heat tolerances. Let's just say, like for my wife, for example, she cannot eat jalapenos. Are hotter than heck to her. Jalapenos on the Scoville scale are like 7 to 9,000, I believe. They're really low on the
Yeah.
Scoville scale. She can eat Apache peppers all day long, and they're 20 to 30,000 on the Scoville scale.
Huh. Well,
It has to do it's something to do with someone's palate and like
sure.
how it attacks their palate, so to speak. And it's probably why you got all these crazy guys out here like doing Carolina Reaper
Yeah.
contest and say,
Challenge.
no,
Trinidad,
no, no. Yeah,
Trinidad Scorpion, blah blah blah.
I'm
All
growing
that.
some of those too.
Yeah, that was that Pocky chip. That was a combination of Carolina Reaper and Trinidad Scorpion.
Yep,
That
I'm growing both of them.
tasted like dirt. I'm telling you right now, it was
Yeah,
disgusting.
I'm not into melt your face off heat. I mean, I like spicier stuff than most people do, but my wife likes spicier stuff than I do. So, like I said, we just try to find ways to, to use some of the powders and stuff, and we may just use a little bit because it is such a hotter pepper versus, if we were using like a cayenne or something, we'd have to use, a tablespoon. We could use
Yeah.
just a little pinch or something
What
of a
what
hotter.
other things do you incorporate on besides just proteins and meats? What else would you cook with, whether it's in the house or outside? What are some unique things that you've used different peppers on that the general guy like me wouldn't even think about?
We so we use it on fruits. We'll use it.
What did I send a picture of earlier?
Yeah, you did.
Hot
You
bomb
did.
on watermelon.
Hot bum on watermelon.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's good. It's like
I
that
well,
tahine,
yeah,
without the lemony
yeah. My
flavor. So
wife
yeah,
loves tahini too. Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll use it. We'll use it on like pineapple spears. We'll use it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, huh? Bell peppers. Will my
She's got to
wife's
tell
kind
you
of
what she likes now.
filling in
Yeah,
here.
just
Yeah,
get her on
yeah.
here.
Bring
You
her,
can go
bring
away,
her
Rob.
in.
She said no. but no, I mean, even something like if I make a couple just microwave frozen burritos and melt a little cheese on them, I'll sprinkle some pepper on those, or I'll use a rub. I'll use hot bum on them. I'll use hot and bothered. I mean,
Yeah.
the, your guys' rubs, they're not rub, they're spice blends. And I think a
Hmm.
lot of people with it being marketed, let's say, as a barbecue rub, are a little apprehensive. And everyone that I have given any to or anything, I'm like, try it on mixed vegetables, try it on,
Yeah.
and once they do, they're like, oh man, I need some more of that top secret. Oh man, I need some more of that, And I'm like, let me know and I'll get you some more, but they're like, I find I put it on everything now
You might know
Well,
because
and
some
they're
guys.
well balanced.
that
Huh?
is the hardest thing. Brian and I talk about that often, and I've talked with some other folks that have rubs that I had the conversation with my own brother a year ago. He's like, I go, do you need some more rub? I'll bring some up when I come to visit. And he said, oh no, I still got some. I go, are you not using it? Well, I'm not cooking during the wintertime on the grill. And I'm like, dude, it's just you take all those spices you have in your pantry and they're mixed together. That's all it
Right.
is. I mean,
Right. It's
so
pre-mixed for you. It's way
so
simpler. You
so
don't
I
have to
try
get
Scrambled
out the
to.
onion
eggs.
powder and the garlic powder and
That's
the
why when you notice my post every now and then, I'm like, hey, this is for indoor cooking, outdoor
yeah.
cooking. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter,
Well, you
So
you were flipping me some grief that day about me having the old hot bum, and you're like, "Come on, have you not been cooking?" And I'm like, "Do you want to see my rub line? Like, I
oh,
gotta
I
kind
know.
of,
I
I
like
gotta kind
giving
of mix
everybody a
it
hard
up
time.
here and there,
I
bro."
mean, I got kids that want to go to college, Rob. Come on, I only make like 20 cents a bottle. Come on now, hook a brother up.
Now
Yeah.
you
But
make
yeah,
some.
no, I mean, I'll use it. I'll mix it in if I make rotel. I'll mix it in.
Hmm.
You can use it on so many things. And not just your rubs, but like with the pepper dust and stuff that I
Yeah.
make too. You can just it's pretty versatile. You
Your
know.
your peppers or pepper dust. You had some peach glaze that you did that was pretty good. Was any of that in there?
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Some of my peppers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what. Yeah. That was. I used the Sugar Rush peach stripies
Okay.
in
So that
there.
These names just give me. That's just crazy.
I've
Sugar,
still got it.
Sugar Rush Peach
Did you
Stripe.
give Kevin a jar of that?
No, I'll give Kevin my last
Uh,
jar that I haven't opened. Let him
well,
try
that's
it out.
because I gave you a jar and I gave Kevin a jar, but
Oh,
you
I
never
thought they were
gave it.
both for me.
You never gave it
Sorry,
to
dude.
Kevin.
Ah.
I got to see
Yeah.
Kevin anyways. I got to
I
grab
gotta
some
make a note.
stuff from him.
But
So
no, I mean, it's very sweet. I mean, it's very sweet. It's a peach sauce. It's very sweet, but it has I think it has a pretty nice back end heat to it.
Okay.
And like I've used it in a rib wrap before. I mean, obviously just at home, not like,
Yeah.
at a comp or anything.
Well, I
But
mean,
I've used it in a rib wrap. I've used it like with pulled pork, and it gives it a nice fruity flavor with a little heat to it. So
You
yeah.
yeah,
take
check
a
it
lot
out.
of stuff we do at comps and cooking, and I mean, you go in your backyard and play on the Weber Smoky Mountains, like my breakfast sausage balls. You created like a chicken ball or something.
Yeah, yep. I I
No, that's
I shigged your idea.
that's the fun of doing that kind of stuff,
Yeah, I mean,
coming up,
what's fun about it to me is that you can take something and you can look at it and go, yeah, that's pretty good, but I could do this with it, or I could do that with it, or I could make it Italian, more Italian style, more Mexican
Mhm.
style, more Tex-Mex style, so on and so forth. Like I've made I've made jalapeno poppers that I used like cream cheese, extra sharp cheddar, some chopped up jalapenos. I did like some seasoned taco meat and some corn, and then used almost Mexican rub on them and made kind of like a Southwest
That
kind
sounds
of
good.
Hmm.
popper.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just playing around with different stuff. That's what's fun to me.
What what's that thing they call like the dinosaur egg or whatever? Scotch bonnet egg
Armadillo
or
armadillo
Armadillo
egg.
egg.
armadillo
Armadillo
eggs.
egg.
You should
Yeah.
take a full reaper, take the stem off, and make that the center of one.
Go away, Brian. That's no,
and then I'll
no.
just give it to Kevin.
Yeah. Then yeah, you guys, yeah, I'll be in that porta potty that's a cooker and it'll be on fire. So um I need to, it's and I know you don't get out to a lot of comps, Rob, but at the Royal at a minimum this year, I need to take you over and introduce you to Mike Peterson with Fat and Dumb. Mike Peterson's he's into this hot. I have a small bottle of rub. I gave me it from Osage City. I'll give some to Brian, some to you. I don't know what it is, but I tasted a little bit and I said, yeah, I know who this is going to. I'm not going to use it. But I know last year Mike Peterson was trying to grow because habaneros have a good flavor, but the heat sometimes is too much. He was working to grow. He had figured out a way, the right description. He basically grew the heat out of it, crossbred it.
Cross
Yeah,
pollinated
not
it.
cross pollinate. So you had the flavor, but you had no, and he was trying to find a way he could grow. Well, I don't know if he's gotten there yet or what, but you guys would get along great because he seems to know a lot about this type of stuff. I think you guys would probably have some great conversations. He is kind of crazy. He's been known to walk around in a pink leotard unicorn outfit at competitions, and he's way taller than me, so be careful. Fat and Dumb is the name of his team. So, but no, I think you guys would get along great. I got to introduce you to him. Your knowledge on all that stuff would be really cool. So,
Well, and I mean, I'm learning every day as well, and there's a lot of good information. It's kind of like this channel, for barbecue. There's plenty of channels out there about or YouTube channels and Facebook groups and stuff that are very informative, very very helpful. And you can learn a lot from them. And
mhm.
it's not just people like putting everybody down that you don't know. You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
it's way more informative, and honestly, in trading seeds with people, and like we'll get to chatting on Messenger, and I took one guy down a complete rabbit hole of aeroponic and hydroponic systems. And I told him, I said, I can send you some links if you want. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and send them, bro. I'm already in the rabbit hole. He's like,
Yeah. Well, and anybody, like I said, I don't know how many people watch this podcast versus listen to it and what have you. But earlier, before we got on, anybody who's listening, all two of you, Rob showed us pictures of where he grows his little. I mean, I don't know. What'd you say? You had tomatoes alone. You had over 80 tomato plants.
yeah, I got around
And then
100 tomato plants and probably around 200 pepper plants.
yeah, and the pepper plants, that was in the deep, dark, cavernous part of the sub basement. He went in there. I thought, pulled the curtain back and everything. But so if anybody's interested in this, Rob's on Facebook or message Brian and I, we can get you in touch with it because I'll never get into that, but I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
What you guys do. I hear you and Chris Talley get to talking on the message group about this sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are this. I'm scared. So,
Rob's a long way from his 8 plants.
so what
Yeah,
do you?
I've got some plans for him. As a matter of fact, that he probably wanting to be getting them in the ground here in the next couple weeks for
Well, we'll
sure.
see if he listens to this.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now he knows because I messaged him last night about it, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I got I got your neon bubble gums and your Sugar Rush peaches, and
These names
Neon
just drive. These
bubblegum.
are awesome. Well, so
and most of those are hybrids. I mean,
Do you have
those
any
are,
surprise peppers coming up?
oh yeah,
he got quiet there. Oh yeah.
yeah. No, I didn't take you guys upstairs. I have a room upstairs that I have the varieties.
I got another. I kicked the kid out. They're in a tent in the yard.
The kid lives in the basement. You know.
Around all the pepper plants.
No, he really
switches
does.
every now and then.
He really does, but no, I have varieties upstairs on a shelf in front of the window upstairs that I'm gonna grow this year. There's I don't even know what all's up there. There's mammoth jalapenos, which I've never grown before. 7-pot slimers, purple UFOs. There's
It sounds like I'm at
Death
Sunrise
Spirals.
Dispensary.
There's Naga Vipers. I don't even know. There's a few others up there too. So those are ones that I'm going to grow this year that I haven't grown before, and those are the ones. Honestly, like I believe, and I could be mistaken on this, but I believe the Naga Viper was the hottest pepper before the Carolina Reaper.
What about the toothless crack whore?
I don't have that one. Never heard of it.
That was your first date ever, Brian.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Rob could probably talk about that.
That was working behind the Shell station
$5 is $5
at the truck stop.
Yeah. Do you keep a list? Do you have a list of what you have as you're growing new plants and different seeds? Do you keep track of, hey, this came out this way, this didn't came out great? Do you track all that stuff?
No, I don't. But I do. Like all of my seeds are in separate Ziploc baggies, obviously, and they're all labeled and they're all, so I know what everything is. And then I have like sub baggies. So I have a gallon Ziploc that are new to me seeds that I've traded for this year that I've never grown before. So what I'm getting at is next year when I go to start seeds, I will start there with the ones that I haven't ever grown before.
Okay.
And grow some of those, and then and so on and so forth. But I had so many new varieties this year to grow that you'll probably laugh at this. I have most of my family lives in Kentucky, and I have a cousin that lives in Kentucky that has a huge garden, and he grows all kinds of stuff every year. I literally sent him a bunch of seeds that he's going to grow pepper plants for me and save the seeds and send me the seeds back. So I've farmed out like 7 or 8 varieties as well.
Dude, you are going to become the pepper king. I can see it. What's the end game? Do you just like doing this, or what's the end game, Rob?
I do. I enjoy doing it. At some point, so I grow a lot of Thai peppers, and so a couple years ago, I had bought some peppers at a nursery, some pepper plants at a nursery when I first started out, and I grew those, and they were really good, and I really liked them, and Brian really liked them, so on and so forth. So
and they're not big, right? They're little.
Yeah, they're about an inch long.
Okay.
An inch and a half. So anyway, the following year, I went to the same nursery and got the same plants. And they were about a half-inch long and way more round and not long and slender like the year before. So I thought, this is a completely different pepper. Like
Uh-huh.
it's not what it was advertised to be, which happens. So
Sure.
I guess getting around to your question, my in game. So I started looking online and looking at Etsy and stuff, and I was finding these Etsy pages where I could buy these seeds, and there's these people were selling like 5 seeds for $1. And I'm like, you can get like, I mean, depending on the pepper, you can get 40 seeds out of one pepper that's an inch long. And I'm like,
I'd make a real
if
bad
I
joke right now, but anyway.
if but I thought to myself, if I can amass like a variety of different seeds, then I could open an Etsy page and sell 10 seeds for $1. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that's my end game or anything,
Mhm.
but it's something to think about, you know. So the last couple years, I've just been trying to amass different varieties so I would have more to offer if I was to do something like that. But like
Sure.
I said before, like you end up like you get some kind of wild, harder to find varieties, and now you almost have like bargaining power to get some other hard to find varieties too. So, you know, there's
With
that as well.
so with that, I mean, obviously Brian and I have some rub lines. There's FDA requirements and stuff like that. Are there FDA requirements in selling seeds, or is that just you're just growing a, or none of that stuff? Like kind of like the what do they
Not
call it? The go ahead.
not to my knowledge. Obviously, that would be something that I would obviously look into and check out
Sure.
before I was to do something like that. But as far as I know, there are no regulations on any of that.
Yeah, I haven't
It's kind
seen.
of
Because
like the cottage laws where you can make
I mean,
jellies and jams and all kinds of stuff without
Brian would
having
probably know
FDA, but
because
we
I know Brian's bought some seeds online and stuff from different
Yeah,
vendors and whatnot, and they
there's
just show
nothing
up in an
there.
envelope in a
And that makes sense. You're just
yeah,
plastic bag.
I
yeah.
haven't seen anything. I mean, some of them just the little clear Ziploc, the
Yeah,
little clear
Because,
Ziplocs. I'm
well,
like, okay,
technically it's not a food at that point.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
seed. So I guess I was just curious on that. I mean, it's an interesting concept. I love what you're talking, and I'm sure there's a whole community and world out there that I don't even have a clue about that does that. Like
Yes, there
everything, there
is.
is with everything. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't know
and
that.
you'll
I didn't
you'll
know
run
there's this
into.
barbecue world before 5-6 years ago. You know,
Hey,
so
but before we go any farther, Kevin and I want you to know 100% that we want 3% on all your sales moving forward from today, because when this takes off,
Right,
Rob,
relaunch
right,
your career.
Rob,
right.
call me, Rob. We'll take.
Eh,
I'll take him out.
okay.
No, seriously, if
Yeah.
anybody's listening, get a hold of Rob if you want to buy some seeds. See if he's got enough of a certain variety. He gets new varieties every year and keeps growing more and more.
A
And
friend of mine, he a few years ago, I remember before actually, I think I met you, Brian. He asked, he goes, "Hey, I got some Trinidad scorpion pepper. Do you want?" I go, "I don't want any of that stuff." And he'd grown it, so I may reach out to him tomorrow and say, "Hey, if you're looking for something different, I got a guy."
I might have it. I might have it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You want
I
a
mean,
Dracula's butthole pepper?
there is a Count Dracula pepper, actually.
Yep, I have one. Yeah, I'll get you some
But
seeds.
I mean, much the same as like the barbecue community, the pepper community is much the same. Like I there's groups out there that like if you're looking for a certain seed or something or whatever, you just post it, and if somebody has it, they just send it to you. They don't
Well,
ask for
that's
anything
awesome.
in return. They'll just send
Yeah,
it to you. You know, like kind of like the barbecue family is. You know, you show up at a
yeah,
comp and you don't have any brown sugar. Somebody there is going to go, "Hey man, I got plenty of brown sugar here," yeah, yeah,
yeah,
or whatever the
yeah.
case may be. You know, everybody kind of helps everybody out. So I've had people. Every time I trade seeds with somebody, I always throw an extra pack or two of some other variety in with them. You
Sure.
know, and just send it to them as a gift.
You
You
should throw
know.
like some cucumber seeds in one time with them.
Pumpkin seeds or just
Label them
don't label
pumpkin
them.
seeds, and then there'll be
Yeah,
something else, and then
just don't label them. They'd be like, "What pepper did this come out of? This seed is huge."
damn. Now you've got
But
me thinking. Now I need to. I I'm trying to do different besides just comp stuff this year. I said I want to get into back to, not that I don't have fun doing comps, but having fun doing other types of stuff. And man, I haven't made
I like
poppers
doing
or armadillo eggs in years.
I like
need to
doing
do
comps too, but I mean, honestly, to me, for a guy like myself, comps are so expensive to do that I'm gonna use the term backyard cook, but you know what I mean. I don't mean the
Yep.
backyard series. I mean,
Yep.
for the average Joe that would like to get into competition barbecue and doing a couple, it's just so expensive. It's hard to do.
Yep.
And as we all well know, it's very humbling as well. You
Mhm.
may think that you cook the best ribs you've ever cooked and turn them in and they don't score worth a darn, and it's easy to get discouraged
Yeah.
and to give up, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And like, why am I spending this money for no results? And at the end of the day, you might get $60 or $100 and you get a little wooden plaque, or I mean, so I would like to see, I'd like to see more like meat provided comps and
Mhm.
stuff like that, to where everybody's cooking the same thing, and you don't have to spend $400 on a brisket to compete.
Or
If
that's
everybody's cooking a prime, everybody's cooking a prime,
that's the fun of an unsanctioned comp is it's
Yeah.
they may have an anything but or something just separate. Like you guys do that one up in northeast Kansas that you guys always have fun at and everything.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's kind of and that's why I'm kind of like, okay, I'm still going to do some of my KCBS comps, but I want to do some other fun stuff. I actually, I'm going to do some of the extra categories, the ancillaries. I did turkey. I know it sounds weird. That's not a big deal. I never cooked turkey before. I had a good time cooking it. It was great. I don't even like turkey, and I thought it was awesome. So it's just kind of the fun part of that.
For
So,
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
It's like our chili. I mean, I did the chili going, I don't even think it's going to score good. I love my chili. And
Right.
we came out in first. And it might have been the potato I put in with it. But
I mean, as far as being a cook, if you like what you're cooking and your family and your neighbors and everybody's happy and they say you got the best barbecue, pat yourself on the back and take it as a win, because you probably are a good
Yep.
cook,
Yep.
And like I said, I like experimenting around and taking, like I said earlier, making a Southwest pop, or making a doing this different or that doing different, and kind of playing around with it, just having fun.
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah. Well, you got any sponsors you want to shout out?
Well, Sofa King, Weekend Bum.
These are not
King
paid
Bird?
sponsorships.
King Louie. Who did I miss? Backyard Matters. hey, just so you know, under my pepper shirt, Brian, I am representing.
Check that out. Chicken and Ribs.
Chicken and Ribs 2024.
Yeah.
That's to the queue.
Is that the winning ticket right there? There we go.
That's it.
There you go. That's awesome. Rob, honestly, this has been fun. I mean, I know you, so I mean, it's great to talk to you, but I didn't know all this world existed. You've got me intrigued. I do want some cowboy candy, and I'm okay if I get some that are a little hotter. I don't mind that. I'm not scared of hot stuff. I just don't need any of that light you on fire, kill me type stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, I don't care for the melt your face off stuff either. I don't eat reapers. I don't eat Trinidad scorpions. I dry them out. I might use a little in a jerky or something, but that's about it. I don't go real crazy with that stuff.
Yeah.
So
no. But this has been awesome. Appreciate you coming on, Rob. I know
Absolutely.
you thought it was weird. We're trying to do different stuff,
What do you guys want to talk to me about?
Well, you got a cool background. You've done some cool stuff, and the pepper thing is not. Hopefully we share this in the groups you're in. Hopefully the some of the pepper groups you're in on Facebook or something. Get some new audiences. It's trying to be different.
Peppers are a big thing incorporating into barbecue now. So.
Yeah. You never know. May get some some of those people, some of those Texas guys, ladies and gentlemen down south that really want some more heat or whatever. It's we're just trying to do a little bit different, have fun with it, not
Yep.
be your traditional podcast. So that's all good. You got anything else, Brian?
Just meet you at band camp here in June at the Father's Day comp. Hopefully the belt comes home with us this year.
Right on.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a great evening. Thanks, Rob.
You as
Appreciate
well.
you
Thank
coming
You,
on.
Rob.
Thanks
Talk
for
to
having
you
me.
soon. All
See
right.
ya.
See you
Have a
guys.
good night.